I'm a nearly adult person and was abandoned by my mom when I was a kindergartner. She left me with my dad, who raised me on his own. My dad, 34, recently passed away, and now I'm living by myself, trying to adjust. A few weeks ago, I was at home when there was a knock at the door. I opened it and saw a woman and a man standing there. At first, I didn't recognize the woman, but then she said my name, and I realized it was my mom. She's 33 now, but she looks surprisingly young for her age. I was about to close the door, but she begged me to let her in. Reluctantly, I let her come inside. We sat down in my living room and she began to explain. She told me she left because my dad was abusive and she thought leaving was the only way to protect herself. She spoke about her struggles and how she'd regretted leaving me every day. She introduced me to her husband and said she wanted to reconnect and be a family again. As she talked, I felt a surge of anger. It seemed like she'd moved on easily while I was left behind. I told her it looked like she wasted no time replacing me. Her eyes filled with tears as she pleaded. She said she never replaced me and that I would always be her baby boy. She promised me she'd thought about me daily and offered to prove it by leaving her husband and family just to be with me. She even suggested taking me on a vacation where she would pay for everything that I wanted as a way to make things right. During this conversation, her husband tried to interject. She snapped at him, telling him to leave the apartment because she needed to talk to me alone. He looked surprised but left quietly. Once we were alone, she continued to plead, saying she couldn't live without me and was willing to do anything to stay in touch. Despite her desperation, I told her I didn't care about her reasons or the fact that my dad was abusive. All I knew was that she'd abandoned me and my dad had been the one to raise me. I told her I didn't want her in my life and asked her to leave. She didn't want to go and insisted that she wanted to prove her commitment. Eventually, I gave her my contact number and she left. Since then, she's been blowing up my phone with texts and calls non-stop. Now I have mixed feelings. A part of me wants to accept her apology and see if we can rebuild a relationship. Still, another part of me feels like it's too late to apologize. She wasn't there for me when I needed her most, and I'm struggling to understand why I should let her back into my life now. Am I the idiot for telling my mom to leave after she showed up 12 years later? Something's hinky here. She shows up with her husband. She tells you in front of her husband that she would just leave him and her family to be with you. He says nothing and leaves when she tells him to. I think they have exactly $0 and are trying to love bomb you to get in the house and access to any money. Block her, or don't, but don't pay a penny for anything or let them stay at the house, even as guests. You'll never get them out. I want to know how she found out OP's dad died, because she didn't try to contact her child in all that time and didn't fight for custody, but now OP's alone, so Mum shows up. She wants a piece of the oh-so-sweet life insurance. She thinks OP might come into money he doesn't know about yet. Hun, I may be overly cynical, but I can't help but wonder if she thinks reinserting herself into your life will give her access to any money your father left you, or give her access to a nicer place to live than her own. I would take any future interaction carefully and potentially have someone with you as a witness or record it. Her behaviour seems overly manipulative. After being abandoned, it's natural to have mixed emotions when someone returns wanting to reconnect. It's your choice whether to accept her into your life. If you're not ready or don't want to, that's okay. Don't listen to everybody saying, she obviously just wants to take all your money and wear your skin as a suit. Maybe your dad dying just made her realise her child has no parents now and she has to step up. Update: my mom came back after abandoning me 12 years ago. I wanted to give an update on my situation. I talked to my mom again and reached out to some relatives. They confirmed that my mom had mentioned my dad had anger issues in the past. She explained that, despite his anger issues, my dad was a good father to me, which made things more complicated for her. She said she feels ashamed and regrets leaving me behind. The relatives also apologized and admitted they'd told my mom to divorce or break up with my dad, but they didn't expect her to disappear. They said they watched over me and saw that my dad and I had a good relationship, and they felt guilty about trying to contact CPS because they didn't want to disrupt my life further. My mom apologized profusely. She admitted that it wasn't an excuse, but she was young and weak and ran away from her problems. She said she can't live without me anymore and desperately wants to make things right. Seeing her like this broke my heart for the first time. I asked her if she was doing this all just for money because some people mentioned that she might want the money or stuff I got from my father. She denied it and insisted that her intentions were genuine. To prove it, she said she would give me her entire inheritance and any money I needed, which I accepted. She's trying really hard to show that she's serious about reconnecting and making things right. She also still wants to take me on a vacation wherever I want to go and said she will pay for all of it. I might accept going on vacation with her just to see how things go. I've been distracting myself with the gym, trying to process everything. We plan to meet later this afternoon so she can give me the money, but honestly, I don't care about the money. I just want to make sure she's serious. Part of me wants to believe her, but another part is still hurt. Thank you for all the advice and support so far. Still, lock down your credit immediately. You can do this for free. This is very important to protect yourself and your future. Do not give your social security number. Also, what inheritance? You mentioned nothing about her getting an inheritance, nor from whom. She can change the beneficiary at any time, so this really doesn't prove anything since she could just change it right back to someone else. Also, be very careful about signing anything. You really shouldn't be signing anything without a lawyer. OP, she has other children for whom she actually stayed. Do you really believe she's doing this with good intentions? She offered to leave her husband and her other children for a relationship with you. I wouldn't start with a vacation, I would tend to start slower. Coffee dates, museum trips, farmers markets, a few hours at most. Take it slow. She's your bio mother, yes, but you don't know her. Exactly, please do not go on vacation with her. You do not know her. Call me cynical, but I'm old enough to be your mother, and you need to know there are some crappy people in this world, and some of them are amazingly skilled at hiding that from you till it's too late. And yes, some of them will be family, unfortunately. My wife is horrible with money. At the beginning of our marriage, we pulled our money together and she would use all of it. Her job pays crap compared to mine. So when we combined the money, she went crazy. I had many conversations with her over it and even tried to get her to take a money financial class. Over time, it got worse and worse. About a year ago, I learned that she was in bad credit card debt. I gave her the choice of divorce or we separate our money and she needs to fix her debt ASAP. To her credit, she took it seriously and she's fixing her credit card debt. We have separate money and I pay the bills while her only worry is buying groceries. My family is having a big vacation coming up and everyone is invited. The trip is to Europe and the plane tickets are going to cost $1,000 plus. My parents are going to pay for the resort, so the only thing that needs to be paid is the plane ticket and fund money for the trip. I plan on going. She informed me that she wouldn't be able to afford the ticket. I point out the trip is in about 4 months, so she should be able to save up. She informed me that she needs to use it for her credit card debt to get it paid off. I told her okay and that I'd inform my family that she couldn't make it. This started an argument that I was not willing to pay for her ticket and go on vacation without her. I told her this was her own fault and if she was responsible with money, we wouldn't be here. So, am I the idiot? Everyone's the idiot here. She needs to be wiser about money, sure, I'll give you that. But she is trying. She's fixing her debts and getting her crap together. Of course, you don't have to pay for her. If this was a money issue, I would totally understand your point. But you are just punishing her. You're just being cruel. She already learned her lesson. Why do you keep putting her down? Yeah, I'll go as far as you're the idiot here. She was the idiot in a prior event. He's the idiot in this event. Why even stay together when it's clear you don't want her there? Won't he be surprised when he returns and she's just decided divorce is a better option? Then it'll be, I treated my wife like a child and demeaned her for past errors. Why does she want a divorce? I don't understand how people think he's punishing her. She's a grown damn adult. She needs to learn. Money management is something all adults need. If she wants to go, she should budget her money better. He's supporting her daily by paying all the household bills and she only has to worry about contributing to the groceries. This way she's free to apply all the extra money to pay off her debt. This is the agreement they made together, so while I understand it might not be pretty, I think he's supporting her plenty. Not the idiot. Her years and years of profligate spending have severely damaged this marriage and family. That is soul-crushing. OP is perfectly justified and reasonable in expecting her to buy her own plane ticket with 4 months' notice. Missing one cool vacation won't kill her, but it may help her appreciate the need to be responsible and understand how much she's hurt them. My 30 female mother, 63, passed away a couple of months ago following a sudden and unexpected cardiac arrest. She owned a very nice home outright and had a significant amount of savings as both her and my father's retirement savings were in her bank account. My father died 8 years ago at 59 from cancer. My sister, Megan, 34, is a single mother to 2 sons, young grammar schoolers, both of whom have autism, with the youngest being profoundly autistic and will require round-the-clock care for life. She doesn't work and is reliant on carer payments from the government and child support. Her now ex-husband divorced her because he couldn't deal with his sons and moved to another country, dual citizen, where it's hard for the government to get child support because their government is difficult to work with. My mother's will divided her jewellery equally between us and that the rest of her estate should be split equally. Megan is pressuring me into just taking the jewellery left to me and letting her have both the house and the money because I need it more because of the boys. You're fine and can work. I want my share and said I won't be giving it up. I'm childless and don't plan to have children. I work in legal for a non-profit, and while I'm far from balling in this economy, I'm able to pay my bills without financial stress. My fiancé is foreign-born, and we've been going back and forward as much as we can ever since. Remote work helps a lot, and we're in the process of securing her permanent residency on a partner visa here, which is an expensive and time-consuming process. Receiving my share will wipe out what's left of my student debt, allowing me to take time off work to get her visa sorted faster and buy us a small but still nice house outright so we can live without the stress of a mortgage. Not having a mortgage will allow us to live comfortably but not extravagantly, take a holiday every year, and be free of financial stress. It will also pay for a small but nice wedding and to fly her parents and sister out for it. Megan is furious, saying it's selfish and I can always get a better job if I want a better life, and at least I can work, and that I need to have sympathy for her situation. I don't want to give up work I'm passionate about and that gives me a good work-life balance to go work 14-hour days in big law downtown to service a mortgage. As harsh as it sounds, I shouldn't have to sacrifice for her choices. My fiancé and I have chosen not to have kids, and while I know she didn't choose to have a disabled son, she did choose to gamble on parenthood. Her kids were both planned, and it's not my fault she lost by having a disabled kid and ending up a single mother. I'm legally entitled to it and she can't do anything to try and get it, but she's told a few people and a lot of them say I'm being selfish and should give up my share. Am I the idiot? OP, it doesn't really matter what receiving your share will do. All that sounds fantastic for you and your fiancé, but even if you plan to spend it all on sugar, nothing would change. Your mother, knowing your life circumstances, decided to split her estate equally. You're under no obligation at all to change that. If you want to be generous with Megan, by all means do so, but don't feel like you have to weigh the morality of Megan's demands. You don't need any sort of reason to simply take the money and enjoy your life. Your mother knows all of Megan's and your circumstances and decided it should be split equally. If she thought Megan should get more, she would. This type of stuff is awful on families, and I lost my sister partly from this type of stuff, and I did better by her than my mom's wishes, and I still lost her. Do what your mom's wishes said and screw the naysayers. Everyone wants a handout when someone passes, and it often reveals who they really are in the process. Not the idiot totally. My 34 female twins are kindergartners. They both started school last September and I put them in separate classes to help them be more independent. When it came to inviting kids for their birthday, I invited both classes, as at my kids' school if anyone has a birthday they will invite the whole class, with some of the parents being kind enough to invite both twins despite one not being in the class. The guest list was just under 50 kids because of this. The twins are now at an age where they will remember their birthday, so I wanted the guest list to reflect who they would want, although previously I've invited my friends and their kids to the twins' birthdays, including child-free friends as honorary aunties and uncles. Planning their party was a bigger effort than I thought, and although I originally planned to do it myself at home, I rented a soft play centre my kids love. I also invited a few family friends who had kids around my twins' age, but not the child-free friends, as it was a soft play centre and I didn't think it would be fun for them, and I was being charged per person turning up, so wanted to cut costs as they wouldn't be using the soft play area. I got a call from my child-free friend Lily, who mentioned that a mutual friend told her about the twins' birthday, and she was upset she wasn't invited as their auntie. I explained to her that it was a soft play area and that it was a kid activity. The twins had their own friends they wanted, and I didn't want them to feel like it was my party. Most of my other child-free friends weren't really that bothered about not being invited, but Lily and a few others said they wanted to be involved. My husband thinks we should throw a family party and invite the child-free friends to compromise, but to me it seems like an apology when I don't really think we've done anything wrong by not including Lily and other child-free friends. I will apologise if I'm wrong, but I don't really know how to navigate this, as my husband and I are one of the first in our friend groups to have kids. I guess it was slightly unexpected for them not to be invited, as they've been included on every other birthday of the twins and their big milestones. You are the idiot. I think you are fortunate to have a friend group that wants to be involved in and celebrate your family milestones. So many parents complain about their childless friends not wanting them to bring their kids anywhere, and here you've got friends excited to spend family time with you. You should have talked to Lily and others and figured out how to include them. Exactly. Like OP could have asked her child-free friends if they wanted to go. I'm also child-free by choice, and I feel like it's a form of judgment and punishment. I'm considered family, but because I don't want or have children, I'm not invited. That doesn't sit right with me. If OP is inviting 2 classes worth of kids and every kid has their own chaperone, that's an insane amount of people for a kid's birthday party. With class sizes where I live, 2 classes and a parent for each child is 80 people minimum. My wedding was smaller. OP, your kids won't remember their birthday when they get older. Your friend will.